Yeah, so in this video, I'm going to show you what settings you need for sword PvP, crystal PvP, whatever kind of PvP you want. Any kind of PvP, basically. So before I get into the actual settings, there's a couple things you need. First of all, you have to be running a modded version of Minecraft. So whereas Fabric, Forge, anything like that, you're going to need a modded version so you can install mods. You don't need to put like a ton of mods and stuff. All you need basically is you're going to need sodium extras and sodium plus or something like that. Basically all that does is just give you all of these menu options in one place. If you look at the original Minecraft menu, you have to scroll, there's no search bar, and this just kind of helps with that. So look, I want to change my render distance, it was showing me. So this is generally really good for both your FPS and changing your settings. There's stuff like built-in like culling, occlusion, entity culling, good stuff like that. So before you can even start with the settings, make sure you install all of that. Now that you have that installed, the very next thing, the absolute first thing, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have view bobbing off. View bobbing makes it so your aim kind of moves side to side. I'll show you in a second, but that's very bad for any kind of PvP, as it basically throws off your aim. So if you look, you can see clearly that it's moving back and forth. So imagine trying to fight someone and it's just moving back and forth. So make sure you have view bobbing off. Next thing that you want to do is make sure you have no hurt cam. Hurt cam is what happens when you get hit by a mob and your screen, you kind of shake, and that really screws up your aim, especially in PvP. It would make your aim jump, and that's something you definitely don't need when you're in PvP. In newer versions, you can just go to accessibility settings and turn damage tilt off. There's also a scale, which is pretty cool. But if you're on an older version, I think it's 1.19 and older, then you'll need to install a plugin, or sorry, mod, but they're really easy to download. You can just get it from Mod. The next settings you want to do is to make sure that you get the best frames per second. So right now I'm playing with shaders, so my frame rate is only at 180, and this is with a good PC. So if I were to turn my shaders off, I would get 500, 600, and that's just with a motion blur on as well. So if you were to use these graphic settings on any PC, it would definitely make your FPS, your game run a lot smoother. So here's what you do. On general, and you want to turn all of these to match this. You don't have to copy these, but make sure you have VSync off and max frame rate up to maximum. But basically, just copy all of these. Right, for the next thing, we're going to go back to our graphics settings, and this time we're going to go to Coid tab. And you want to copy all this. Make sure to not change this value. It could definitely screw up your game, but copy all of these. Of course, you can experiment with what you want, but this is going to get you the best frames, and it's not going to make your game look terrible. After that, you want to go to performance. You don't have to touch any of this. Just leave all of these on. At advanced, also you don't want to do any of this, especially don't touch this. If you do those, there's really not much else in the graphics settings. I think there's, after performance advanced quality, there's a FPS overlay, which you can do if you want. There's some animations, there's some particles that you shouldn't mess with. There's the sky, the stars, whatever. It doesn't really change your frames per second. There's more stuff, like you can remember the beacon beam, the enchanting table book, pistons and stuff. There's more FPS stuff, but I would recommend turning all these off, because if you get a toast, which is like when you break a tree and it says punch wood, blah, 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 it can actually really screw up your frames per second. So I'd recommend turning all of these off, but this is basically all for the Minecraft settings. Now that you've done all of your graphics settings, you need to actually go into your controls now. So, first of all, you want to go to your FOV. Me personally, I just have mine at 90. This is one of those personal preference things, but 90 is what is most similar to the human FOV, like seeing out of your eyes. And for playing other games like Call of Duty, Valorant, blah blah blah, this is mostly the default FOV. After that, skin customization, music and sounds, you can screw around with this if you want. We already did video settings. Accessibility settings, you can do stuff like this. This is also personal preference. You can change the glint speed and glint strength to make it look like an enchanted sword looks normal. Me personally, I'll just keep it on, pan around, and blah blah blah. After that, you want to go to your controls. First thing you want to do is go to your mouse settings. Make sure that you know where this is. I've known way too many people that have just gotten used to the terrible default settings and like, this is terrible, why can't I change it? And they never looked it up, no one ever told them. So make sure you know where this is. This is one of those personal preference things. Me personally, I keep my sensitivity on a lower scale. Well, my wrist, since I was young, is really screwed up. So a high sensitivity, I can't aim. That's just me though. If you're like having high sensitivity, you can do that. But lower, it's just if your hand jitters or if you move your hand too fast, it won't make it so that your cursor goes flying back and forth. So that's just me. You can copy these if you want. After that, go to keybinds. This is all personal preference basically, but as you can see, my move keys are weird. It's also because I now have a W key. If you play sword, you're not going to need any of this, but I would recommend setting it up anyways, as this can help you with other game modes, because obviously you're going to have to be playing other game modes in sword if you want to play Minecraft non-PvP like. So if you're playing Crystal, UHC, or just playing SMPs, if you haven't set keybinds up ready for your slots, make sure you do that now. Like, before anything else, make sure you set up keybinds. Yeah. Make sure you have open and close. Last thing I'll recommend in here is just having a toggle perspective key. It just helps so you can look behind you in fights. Make it something that you can access really easily. Default key is F5 if you can't find it. But that's all. There's stuff for Luna Client that I'll go over later. That's basically all for the controls for now.